Namaste. So it's early in the morning and I'm at my friend's place way out in the country where I can walk around dressed like I prefer, which is nothing. And I'm really thinking about this video business, you know. I have to say I'm very disappointed. A couple of weeks back I recorded a nice rant about how people aren't leaving relevant comments, and they're still doing it. They're still leaving irrelevant, inane, really stupid comments. And like I said before, I think it's an ethical issue. And the ethical issue is when you encounter someone with extraordinary knowledge, power, or any other kind of opulence, you know, you should create a relationship with them. It's in your best interest. See? Because, for example, in these videos, they're only like 15-20 minutes long. I can't really say a whole lot. The time is a limiting factor. I mean, the average view is only 6 minutes, and that doesn't change whether the video is 7 minutes or 70 minutes. It's still, the average view is 6 minutes, so not much point in making long videos. But there's a lot more that could be said and really should be said about these topics. See, people have an appetite for small teachings, like Secret of the Golden Flower. It's really a small teaching, you know. Turn the light around. That's it. If you just do that, you'll get the result. And, you know, depending on how seriously you pursue it, that will determine the nature and depth of that result. So, all right, that's the most popular series on this channel. And I have a lot of other series, you know, about small things like very specialized aspects of the Buddha's teaching and different other semantic topics and this and that, matrix learning and blah, blah, blah. These are what I call small teachings. Why? Because the context that they establish is relatively restricted. But Śrī Vidya is a great teaching. By great, I mean it's all-embracing. It explains everything about spiritual life, from the beginning to the end, all the stages in between, the techniques that it gives. I mean, it's just a tremendously valuable teaching, but nobody is pursuing it, you know? Like, I gave the teaching of the 4 darshanams, Chatur Darshanam, or Chaturvadi, the 4 views. And the 4 views are categorized according to one's view of the world and the Supreme, the God. And so in duality, one thinks the world is real and God is far away. That's Dvaitavada. In Vishishta Dvaitavada, there's a personal relationship with God. God is much closer, but the world still appears real. And one thinks that the soul is eternal and all that good stuff. So then, the higher stage, the next stage is where real meditation begins. That's Vivartavada. And in Vivartavada, one is well aware that the world is simply an appearance, an illusion, and strives to get rid of the mind, neti neti. And then finally, when one attains realization, ajatavada is where one views the world as being unborn. It was never born. Huh? Not only does it not exist, not only is it an illusion, but it was never created in the first place. So this is the view of a fully realized being. So yeah, I can talk from that view, or I can talk from any of the other views, but really the most valuable teaching is the four views itself. Huh? So all the four viewpoints, all the four visions of God and the world are there in this teaching. It's a huge teaching. It's the only teaching, legitimate, scripturally based tradition that I'm aware of that fully embraces all aspects of human sexuality. Now, isn't that something? But why haven't I got any queries about it? Why haven't anybody asked searching questions about it? Why hasn't anybody asked, like, if I came in contact with a teaching like that, well, I did and come in contact with it. And my immediate question was, well, how do you mark the transitions between the different states? What are the symptoms of a person in these four different stages with these different views and so on? What are the practices appropriate to each? And so on and so on. So many questions. These topics I haven't had time to cover in the videos because of the time limitations. But they're absolutely essential to actually practicing the knowledge. Not just hearing about it and thinking, oh, isn't that nice, you know? But practicing and getting the results. So, I think this is an ethical problem. You're cheating yourself. See? This is called atmahanta, means killer of the self. One who is a killer of the self cannot inquire into his best welfare. Even if someone far ahead of him on the path becomes available, he can't speak up and ask the questions that allow him to actually apply the teaching. And this is the symptom of misunderstood terminology in general, that one cannot apply the information. Way back when, I got myself a twin engine instrument rating, private pilot's license. And there's a pile of books about 3 feet high that you have to study to get through that. And I got through it in like 6 months. And the instructors were going, how the hell did you learn all that stuff? Because I could not only recite the theory, you know, the regulations and so on, nearly verbatim, I could also do it. Get in the cockpit, put on the blinders, you know, they have for testing instrument flying. They have like a horse's blinders that they put on you so you can't see anything except the instruments. And you're in IFR weather, but you have to fly by the instruments and prove that you can do it. Well, I did it. I passed my solo on the first try. How did I do that? I used matrix learning to disambiguate all my misunderstood terms. See? That's what you should be doing. If you're watching this channel, go all the way back to the beginning. There's material on how to learn stuff, and there's material on ethics, integrity. So, as far as I'm concerned, everybody here except 1 or 2 people is out ethics and out integrity because they have not established a personal relationship with me. I'm the only one that you know who can answer your questions on this stuff, isn't it? But Do you write me? Do you, do you post your email in your comments and ask for an invitation to our private group? No. And let's take, for example, the most popular series, Secret of the Golden Flower. Well, I make a pretty spectacular claim. Or not me, but the author makes the claim that if you practice this, you'll get enlightenment in 100 days or less. I practiced it. I got enlightenment in about 45 days. Back in 1984. So I've been realized since 1984. And I spent the last 35 years, yeah, it's been 35 years, studying to try to understand my experience. So it's perfectly possible to do a method, get the result, get enlightenment, and not understand what the heck is going on. It happens all the time, in Zen especially. So, what is the problem? Too little background. And you get that background by asking questions. And don't tell me that you ask yourself the questions and then research the site, watch all the old videos and get the answers there. I don't believe it. If that was true, there'd be a lot more views on those old videos. So I think that the vast majority of viewers on this channel are phony ass, out integrity, killers of the soul, committing suicide by making offenses to a realized being. Sorry, that's really what I think. I think you're basically insane. Because here I am, I'm available to you, and you're not pursuing a relationship. You're not peppering me with relevant questions and insightful comments. You're not trying to get closer. You're not trying to spark a dialogue, a learning experience, whereby you can get the results, the benefits that I've got. So you are basically suicidal. You should go check yourself in at the local mental health unit and get some help. I'm serious. That's why I don't feel like I can go on with this making videos, you know? It's like, if by making these videos, I'm only creating an opportunity for you to commit offenses and screw up your karma, huh? And I'm especially talking to my ex-disciples. I know you're watching these, especially you, Kanai. I know you're watching, hoping to get some little edge, some little clue, huh? Well, you had the clue. I gave it to you 10 years ago. And what did you do? You trashed it. You rascals. Idiots. Mentally deficient. Huh? Serious learning disabilities. I gave all the secrets of the transition from Dvaitavada to Vishishta Dvaitavada in classes every day for months in our ashram. I even wrote a book about it, which everybody participated in publishing. And guess what? Nobody understood anything. And then when I started acting on the Vishishta Dvaita spontaneous platform, which is marked by extreme originality and creativity in one's devotional relationship with God, everybody freaked out. Well, duh, we were only talking about this in class for the last 6 months. Why didn't they get it? Misunderstood terminology. That's right, Mr. Crow. Sound the alarm. Honestly. So I wonder, what am I doing here? Making all these videos. It takes a lot of time, believe it or not. And a lot of thinking and preparation goes into this. to try to, how do I present this extremely high knowledge to these blockheads? The final conclusion I've had to come up with is, no matter what I say, it won't really make any difference. You're going to remain blockheads. Why? Because you're suicidal. You're unethical. You're committing offenses, and you're harming yourself. You have self-harm syndrome. If you sat down and cut yourself with a knife, it couldn't be any more damaging than what you're doing to yourself by not taking these videos seriously. So I don't see the point in making any more. There's already, I don't know what, over 500 videos. I've lost count. I don't even keep score, you know. But you should be keeping score, because it's your life, and you're wasting an opportunity that people are literally willing to die for. But because you allowed yourself to be programmed by nonsense atheistic bullshit in school and in work and in society in general, you don't get the value. You don't see how important this opportunity is, and so you neglect it. And that is self-harm, according to my definition, the way I look at it. It's suicidal behavior, because you're going to have to be born in this crappy garbage pile of a world again. You're going to have to go through all this bullshit that you already went through and hated every minute of. You're going to have to do that again and again and again until you expiate the karma created by your offenses. Idiots. Just idiots. So because of these aparada, aradhana means worship. Aparada means the opposite. So when you commit aparada, whether to God or guru or any form of the divine, even the names of the divine, so on, you have to suffer for it, at least. I mean, in the best case, you will suffer from separation. You have all these questions about life. You have all these doubts. You have all these inexplicable failures of your mind to be able to predict what's going to happen, don't you? But yet you don't inquire when somebody is there who can explain all this stuff. You don't see the real causes. You don't see the real why behind anything that happens to you. You're just lost. But then when somebody comes along who knows these things, do you create a personal relationship? No. Even though it's available, even though I ask for it, even though I demand that you post quality comments just the way I post quality content, you don't measure up. You don't do it. You don't even ask how to do it. You see? So that's messed up. I don't need these kind of relationships in my life. You know, I've already had so many disappointing, failed relationships in my life because the people involved did not recognize who and what I am and what my value is. So because of that, I had to terminate the relationships because they were just piling up so many offenses. Michael and I had a great discussion about this. How unenlightened people cannot help but offend an enlightened person. They can't help it. It just happens automatically. And the enlightened person, being enlightened and all, forgives them up to a certain point. And the point is when they become more harmful than helpful to themselves and others by their nonsense. I think we've reached that point here. Now, you still have all these videos. You can go back and watch them. Some of the videos are still open for comments. You can make comments. If your comments are adequate, I will respond. If they're not, I'll simply delete them. And what you need to learn is this art and science of how to relate to realized being. Huh? I've been realized since 1984. Dude. So, this is the thing. And if there is a sufficient resurgence of real interest in this channel, real participation, and authentic relationship building coming from your side, then who knows, I might even be inspired to make more videos.